What is up, guys, and welcome to the start of F1 23 My Team career mode. Now, of course, last time in F1 22 My Team, we've only done one season, and yet there are still episodes waiting to be uploaded. Of course, I will upload the remainder of Season 1 then, but of course, with this new season, we gotta focus then on the F1 23, and I do plan this time around that we actually do some more episodes in just one season, which probably is not really that much of a challenge, not gonna lie, but we're gonna figure it. Anyways, you can see us going through the settings real quick. So if you guys do enjoy the series, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I do want to give a quick shout out to, once again, FaZe7 for giving me this idea. It was a great job of him to suggest the idea last year. And this year, well, he did the same thing. He asked me to do it, and well, I obliged, of course. So thank you to him. Please be sure to go check out his channel. I'll leave the link in the description to his channel. So we'll see how that comes out. Anyways, you can see us just quickly making a couple changes then to these settings real quick. We're going to keep the things on default. Last time we did default and increased, but that ended up just being way too OP. So for now, we'll keep it at default for both, and we'll see how it actually ends up later on.
Welcome to my team. Here you'll experience the world of Formula One not only as a driver, but as the owner of a brand new F1 team. First things first, let's create your driver.
Alright, enough waffling with the darn settings here. Let's just customize and get ready to start this. As you can see us going quickly through the faces. This, I think, was the face we had last season, and of course, as you know, we are going to be bringing back good old Joey Gallagher. We love to see it here. You can see as we've already started to adapt our racewear stuff. So I did actually make this off camera, so now we will be able to use that, and it's going to be the simple red, blue, and black with the emphasis on the black as well. Of course, we're going to be returning Shadow GTF1 Racing to the channel. We love to see it.
Now, some kind of income stream is critical, so we need to sign a primary sponsor. Our primary sponsor will pay a sign-in bonus to the team up front. This is vital to cover the early investments we need to make.
So for our sponsor this year, I'm just going to talk over him. I was looking for an ambitious goal, but the main priority was going to be weekly income and starting bonus. You can quickly see here, looking through these options, we have Xenon Dynamics as the one with the highest starting bonus and the highest goal bonus as well. But it does say to finish 8th or better in the Constructors' Championship. But last season, well, I'm going to give a spoiler, we did finish higher than 8th. So, but this season, I think we got a better chance here. So, we're going to go with Xenon Dynamics. It is not the greatest weekly income, but it's definitely a good start for us.
Our car won't be going anywhere fast without a power unit. So let's sign a power unit supplier now. We need both performance and durability from our power units, but we also need to balance the books. We're going to have a lot of other areas to invest our cash into.
So for our engine, remember last year we went with the Honda engine. The Honda engine was pretty good last year. It was definitely a strong engine to use this year as well, as you can clearly see by the stat. But I'm fancying something different this year, and that is the Renault engine. Even though Renault is the worst in performance with only 86 and joint worst in reliability with Ferrari 81, it's only $2.5 million compared to all the other ones which are just over $3 million. It'll be important we maintain the performance and the durability, but this will give us extra money though for the new season.
But we still need a teammate for you. The higher a driver's experience, the more resource points are earned to spend on vehicle upgrades. Drivers earn acclaim based on their performances. When a driver earns enough acclaim, they will level up.
So for our teammate, it's trying to just essentially find the best balance between performance and cost. Remember, our last season, we did have Teo Pocher, and he was good at times, but a lot of times he was very underwhelming. You can clearly see here, we're debating between Dragovic and Iwasa, and you can see that Iwasa, he's the same rating as Dragovic, but he's $250,000 less. Yes, he is lacking in some areas, but I think we can definitely improve him in some areas. So that pretty much set up for now.
The livery we'll be running this season. We can add more sponsors to the car as we sign them throughout the year. And don't worry, we can edit our look at any time from HQ.
Like I said, with the overalls as well, we did actually manage to copy a design as well. So this is what I made off camera as well. We went for the metallic black, blue, and red again. Of course, the emphasis, like I said, is on black. It does look pretty nice, I might add. This livery actually looks pretty nice.
Last but not least, we need to consider our brand, our badge, and team colors.
Well, you know how the team colors are going to go. It's just going to be a simple red, black, and blue, of course. The black background. But last season, we did use a simple R logo. But this time, I'm fancying something a little bit different. Something that maybe might talk about our channel, for example. And this G struck me out definitely here. We're going to use the circle here, and the G, of course, is simply going to be blue and red here. And it's kind of like the GTF1. It does sort of have it, I guess. I mean, it's not great, but hey, what are you going to do about it, though? Anyways, going quickly through the colors. As you can see, we've already copied some colors, so it's actually going to look pretty nice here. But yeah, back to the livery part real quick. I did make that before, and it actually looks pretty good. The livery designs this year are actually not that bad, so I'm very happy with that. Anyways, you can see us quickly going over to the team colors. The emphasis this year is actually going to be on blue as our primary color. Black will be the secondary color. As you can see, we are debating real quick here. I was actually thinking about putting black as our first color like last time with the black, red, blue stuff, but this time it's going to be blue, red, and black, so it looks pretty nice actually, I might add. But I just hope we don't get confused with Mercedes, who are a very similar color.
You can go back and edit anything we've done so far, and we'll come back here at the start of each season. Or if you're ready to go, hit advance to head to Team HQ, and we can start our push to the top of Formula 1.
New year, new drivers, new team. Welcome and great to have you with us as we move far away from the paddock to the headquarters of the newest outfit on the Formula 1 grid. We've been granted exclusive access with an interview not just with the team owner or the star driver, but both. Because for the first time in modern F1 history, the team owner is behind the wheel themselves. Now is a great time to bring a new team into the sport, particularly off the back of such compelling competition last year. 2022 saw huge regulation changes, and it was Red Bull who came out on top in the development race. But that was last year. This year could be a very different story. Let me tell you, this facility is an absolute hive of activity, and there is a palpable sense of excitement around the car they've built. Quietly, they truly believe they can challenge at the top, and they've had the time now to craft a hugely competitive race car. But theory is one thing, and taking on the brightest lights in motorsport is quite another. So how does the owner of F1's 11th team feel as they prepare to be thrust into the limelight of the F1 circus? New driver lineups, Qatar returns, Las Vegas debuts, and the engineering race continues to push the sport and the drivers to new heights. What are they aiming for? Most excited about? Most nervous for? Well, soon we will meet them to find out. But first, let's take a look at the brand new car. Well, hi, thank you so much for having us. Great to be here. I'm going to start with the question that everyone is asking. It's been a long time since we've seen a team owner drive their own car, and a lot's changed since then. The sport has really evolved. So how are you going to manage the responsibility of doing both roles?
Alright, so these answers are going to be important. Let's just look quickly through here. We have definitely have an easy, I guess, decision to make here. It's just go with the right one. It's about the team here, eh?
And tell me about your teammate. They're clearly very excited to have signed with you. What do they bring to the team?
What does Owasa bring? He brings talent, he brings skill, he brings absolute legendariness. That was totally a word.
So tell me about the work on the car. It's clearly a blank canvas. You've done a lot. What have you prioritized?
Okay, this is important. This is going to affect the department, so we're going to have to definitely choose our answers wisely here. I do want to focus on aerodynamics and chassis here, and we are going to this time go with the chassis, I think. Are we? Make a decision. Are we going to do it? Nope, it was aero.
Now, there's no getting
I
away
cannot
from the
believe I
fact
screwed that
that
over.
your
Jeez.
competitors have a huge amount of Formula 1 experience. You are a total newcomer. Tell us where you see the opportunities to make those vital performance gains.
Alright, so I think the goal here is we're going to try to do one of each department, which is good, because that will give us a nice all-round package for the start of this new season. Looking through,
Now, ultimately, your success this season will be determined by whether you can take positions from other drivers. Where do you believe this car has the edge?
I was going to say we were looking through the options until it got rudely interrupted by me making a decision. But we have 4 options here once again. We're probably going to go with powertrain this time. Again, just to balance it out. We've already had 1 chassis, 1 aero. So let's see how this is going to... Or maybe we might go for durability. Nope, we're going for
And with
powertrain.
so many disciplines and experts working so closely together here at your HQ, who gets the coveted Teacher's Gold Star? Who are you most proud of as the first race edges ever closer?
Alright, like I said, we're going to go for a simple all-around here. Or I think, nah, durability's not that important. Yes, I know we have the worst durability power unit, but it's fine. We don't care about that. We want the lightest car, and we go with chassis.
Well, I could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for your time, but I better let you get back to work. There's plenty more still to do. All the very best for your inaugural F1 season.
Alrighty then, here we go then. It's time, as we are here in our HQ, it's time we start to manufacture some new upgrades for the car. Just get a feel for this, and hopefully let's get a move on here. Anyways then, quickly doing some activities here, going through the basics. We have the driver training camp, which will be crucial for Iwasa there, and we're going to probably do an aero and chassis focus here. That will give us a lot of resource points. It will definitely boost the morale of the aerodynamics and the chassis at the expense, of course, the powertrain and the durability, but that's fine for the time. And we do have $1.2 million to spend here. Aerodynamics, though, for some reason, is still at spec 0. We do have chassis at spec 1. Everything else, though, is at spec 0, which is a little bit unfortunate. But as you can see here, we have 1 upgrade on the aerodynamics side. Unfortunately, none on the chassis side. We are looking through the upgrades, though, real quick. Probably going to focus on the weight reduction here. That one is going to come in time, then, for the Bahrain Grand Prix, if we do eventually purchase it, which I do think we will here. Engine side, we do have 2 upgrades complete. We do have a 3rd one that could potentially be done, but we don't have enough resource points. Durability side, there are 2, but those are just the supplier upgrades then. Anyways, looking through the upgrades here for the time being, we're probably going to go back into it as we still have 2 upgrades then. We have 500 resource points left. We probably could do on 1 more minor upgrade, but we'll have to see how that ends up. Anyways, though, looking at the facilities, I was eyeing a potential aerodynamics facility upgrade. Yes, I know it's very early in the series, but we got to get that to spec 1 here. And that's probably going to be the quality control, which is arguably the most important, because I don't care how fast these are built. We just need to get these done as quickly as possible then. Anyways, then quickly going through the timeline here, we do get that one successfully, and we do manage to get our weekly resources then, which oh my goodness, I can't see, which should see us to try and get some more upgrades on the car. We're looking through here trying to see what we can do though in time for the Bahrain Grand Prix, although I don't think anything's going to be going on in time here. We do have a minor front downforce upgrade which could come in time for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, and we will purchase that one. That only leaves us with 350 resource points, which is not really ideal. We'll have to wait till next week to get those weekly resources here. And we do get the aero and chassis focus gone through as well. So we do have a decent amount of resource points left to spend. We could spend it on the chassis here, which will also come in time for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And we're going to go ahead and do that one. So that's going to be 2 upgrades potentially there for next episode. Hopefully those will come in time. And we do manage to get this upgrade as well, which means that we now have an upgrade on the car. Pretty nice, I would say. It does look like a couple more upgrades on the car here, so that's good. We're going to skip practice for now. That was boring. Let's get on to the real business. Alrighty then, it's time for qualifying, the first qualifying session of this F1 23 My Team series. Of course, loading the Bahrain setup here, getting ready to get geared up here. This is the first time we're going to be driving this car around in anger around the Bahrain International Circuit. It's going to be, of course, completely dry. I mean, has it ever rained in Bahrain? Not yet, but anything can happen in this kind of series. Anyways, then, let us start the flying laps, and as we make our way into turn 1 here, going, whoa, way too deep there, completely missing the apex here. Luckily, they'll manage to get on the power a lot earlier, though, than F1 22, which I will say is a massive relief here. I remember last season in F1 22, it was just an absolute nightmare to drive this car around this track, as we go way too wide there, drifting the car on the exit there, as we make our way into the tight turns of 6 and 7. We're trying to get a nice flowing line, although the car not really turning at times, and well, we're completely missing the apex there. As you can clearly see, the car is not really driving though, as Sainz pumps in a 32.1 there. We'll see how our times stack up to him, although I don't expect this to be a good time at all. We open the DRS and make our way down the back straight here. You can see us here using the Renault engine. The Renault engine, probably one of my more favorite engine sounds. I would say the Ferrari is probably the best one. Then comes Renault, then maybe Red Bull and Mercedes. I don't know what to find out. But with that, we're not here to worry about engine sounds. We're here to focus on qualifying. You can see us going flat out through that session, something we can pretty much never do there on F122 unless we spun out or we just completely understeer our way towards the wall. Anyways, into the final corner we go, down to third gear, clip that apex. We have the sun setting, nearly getting in our eyes there, having to get off the throttle there just to make sure the car didn't snap around. It's not going to be a great stop, but across the line, it's going to be P2. We're behind Russell, but we're ahead of both Ferraris. Excuse me? Did I set the AI level a little too low? I might have. As we can see, after speeding up time, we're in P4. We're ahead of Fernando Alonso. We're ahead of Max Verstappen. We're ahead of Charles Leclerc. We're ahead of Carlos Sainz. Our car should not be up here. Literally, Owasa is down there in the order. I think I set the AI level a little too low. I think I relied too much on the F122. By the way, F122, we were running about, I'd say, 87, 88. Well, we are P8 right now after Q1 has finished safely to Q2. Elias out by an entire second, so I'm just good at this game, or I set the AI level just a little bit too low. Just a little bit. I think 87, maybe a bit too low. We are using 87 here right now because I was a little afraid. I didn't do any AI tests beforehand, unfortunately, so. Yeah, we'll have to see how that figures out. I will change the AI though once we do get into the Grand Prix. We'll have to adjust a little bit of those settings here as we make our way in towards turn 4 then, for the first time during this Q2 session here, using the curve to our advantage, trying not to do Lewis Hamilton in 2021, absolutely yeeting the track room. So we'll probably get a warning from the FIA and also our lap time invalidated as well. As now we have a much better run through these corners. You can see we're starting to slowly gain confidence in the car, and like I said, this car is, well, it's not that great as we have a bit of a lockup there, rear lockup actually, in fact. It does help to actually turn the car a little bit, but the great thing about the F123 game is that, you know, like the developer said, there has been a change in the aerodynamic, oh my goodness, I can't even see, the mechanical grip as well, so, of course, you can really feel the tires gripping, especially on new tires. Like, I can tell you, when we did this race on new tires, it felt like as if we were like just on a cloud. It was so smooth. But of course, once the tires start to wear out, it just kind of falls out the window, doesn't it? As we make our way into the final corner then for one more time here in this Q2 session here. It's going to be a decent lap for us. No purple sectors though. Not surprising, but across the line again, we're behind another Mercedes. We sandwiched the two Mercedes here. We're ahead of Leclerc as well. We're only a tenth off of Hamilton, who right now is on provisional pole. As we make our way back to the garage, we're down in P5. P10 is, well, 9/10 away. We know how crazy the AI can get, though, when we speed up time. But are we really safe into Q3 for the first time? I think we're about to find out here as we make our way to the screen. And for the first time in our series, not only are we going to make it to Q2, we're going to make it to Q3 as well. We have Stroll out in the Aston Martin. Both Alpines are out. Both Alfa Romeos, and then Albon is out as well. Fernando Alonso just barely making it through, but Tsunoda's up there in PA. Remember, the AlphaTauri is pretty much the worst car on the grid, though. So maybe it's a bit of luck for us lower drivers here as we make our way down to the main straight and starting for Q3. The lights coming on full force. The sun has set, and it is a beautiful night sky here in the desert of Sakir here, riding that curve. You could pretty much never do that in F122, given the unpredictability of those cars. As we make our way towards turn 4 then, we go a bit deep though. You can see the marbles are starting to pick up on the tire there as they went a bit offline. I do like that little tiny detail they added there. Seems a bit more realistic as we make our way down towards the right-hander here, turn 8. Down a second, clip that apex. Don't use that apex, that exit curve too much, or else the car will snap around. Of course, even though there is better traction, that are low-speed traction. To be a little more specific, in this game, there is no infinite traction, unfortunately. No, we're not using any grip mod hacks. I'm not even going to get into that scandal that happened last year. We're not going to argue about that. But it is just so much cleaner to drive around these corners as Leclerc pumps in a low 31 there. So that's a pretty decent time from the Monegasque driver until Perez lays down the hammer. 30.8, a beautiful lap there from the Red Bull driver. But where are we going to be slotting in for this first flying lap? We do have 2 sets of soft tires because remember, we only used 1 set as we make a massive mistake there on the exit, having to literally like crank the steering wheel in both directions. If that was F122, the car would have gone straight around, and then no surprise, we are dead last. But good thing is that we have 1 more flying lap. We do have an extra set of soft tires to use. We're down at P10 at the moment, but we're gonna wait till the very end then to pretty much to try and secure a decent enough grid slot. You can clearly see here in the sector times that we're pretty decent in sector 1 and sector 2. We're not setting any purple lap times, but we are just up there just so that we can stay in the fight with these top guys here, which I really thought I wouldn't be saying in just the first episode. Maybe the air level is just a bit too low. We'll like fix that afterwards here. Anyways, final flying lap then of Q3 here. Russell pumps in into P6, then Tsunoda's in 8th, Norris is in 9th. So we'll see how this lap goes along. Already 3/10 up here, making our way out of turn 4 here. And now towards the sweeping right left-hander here, getting a nice run through the qualifying is complete. The checkered flag has fallen, so this lap has to count then for us as we make our way out of turn 8 and towards turn 9 and turn 10. 6/10 gain here as we make our way into the tricky double left-hander here, going up just a tad bit deep there. Luckily, just about managing to get the car stopped. We're 8/10 up on our time, nearly 9/10 here as we make our way down towards turn 11. Where the heck are we going to be landing on the grid? With this kind of lap, if we can hold it together somewhat and not do a match with Staff in 2021 in Saudi Arabia, this could be a pretty decent lap for us as we make our way into the right-hander here. Purple to the second sector. Excuse me. Although I might have just jinxed myself as we lost 2/10 in that corner. We are gaining a bit of time back, nearly 8/10 though, as we make our way into the final corner for one last time. This is where we can gain a lot of time here. A little bit easier on the power. Now getting on the power nice and early. 2 seconds gain as we make our way towards the line. Where's this going to put us then for the Bahrain Grand Prix across the line?
Yes, excellent lap. We're all very, very pleased with that one. Nice work. Come on, I'll see you back in the pits.
What? Pole position? In the worst car on the grid.
Qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3.
What?
Gallagher, Verstappen, and Sergio Perez.
Okay,
Just getting started. Make sure you
I
join
don't
us
know
again
what to
for the
say.
race out
I
tomorrow.
am speechless. The AI level is definitely screwed. What? I can't even speak. Let's just go to the race. What happened, guys?
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal. And it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. Formula 1 returns to the desert today and this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities, and it could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Gallagher lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Norris, Bottas, Stroll, Verstappen, Ocon, Gasly, Joe, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, De Vries, Iwasa, De Vries. With lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. I'm joined by Anthony Davidson at the start of a new season, and it is a clean slate. Absolutely anything is possible right now.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
So I did change the AI level then. We put it up like 10 ticks or something. I think it was like 95 right now. I can't do math. 95 minus 87 is 8. I can't do that. Anyways then, time to start the Bahrain Grand Prix then. As we make our way down this straight here, trying to overtake Perez. I may or may not have spun out on the wicket, but it is going to be a one-stop then from the mediums to the hard tires here. So hoping that we can have a decent race around here. And the good thing about this game is that we can, of course, warm up the tires then with the brakes. So even though the carcass temperature is going to be, well, pretty much stone cold as we're just using the brakes, we are able to get some decent temperature into the actual inside of the tire, as well as we are, well, ghosting in between Leclerc, and now going to ghost in between Alonso, making our way into the grid for the first time, slotting in pole position then.
Superb
a nice
parking there, mate.
purple parking
Let's
there.
make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out.
Alright, you got a mark. Let's do this. And anyways,
Okay, so
waiting
that's the
for
rest
the
of the
guys
grid
to
forming up now.
line
Be
up on the grid.
patient.
I did
Watch
actually
those
pause
lights.
there a little bit just so that like we wouldn't have to be sitting on the grid for like the next 35 minutes here. Anyways, let us go then to 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the first of many here in this new series. Lights out, and we are green here in the deserts of Sakir. It's in a decent start for us and Perez. We've already pulled away from Alonso here, so it's going to be the two of us going toe-to-toe into turn 1. Perez on the inside. We're not going to fight that one too much there. We know the Red Bull is a much faster car when it comes to race pace then, but we're going to slot in behind and just try to stick in the slipstream of the Mexican driver. Alonso's in third, Russell's in fourth, Hamilton is in 5th there. So both Mercedes have jumped the Ferraris then. So it's been a disaster start there for the two Ferrari drivers. Ferrari strats, what's going on here? We make our way into the right and left-hander here, just trying to keep the car on the track here. We're going to take it a little bit cautious here. We know the guys behind are going to be very quick then in the race pace. Of course, our car, it's kind of like the Nico Hulkenberg vibe. We have a very good qualifying, but I don't think this car is just capable enough yet to get those top 5 positions here with these big guns here. As we slid our way, then the rear locking definitely still catching me out here a little bit on this game. But so far we are doing alright. As we now go onto the replay cams, we got Leclerc 6th, Tsunoda 7th, Sainz, Norris, Bottas completed the top 10. We got Verstappen already up to P11. Surprised he already took an engine penalty there. Maybe he had some sort of issue with some of the couple components. Stroll, Gasly, Albon, Joe, Hulkenberg, Piastri, Magnussen, Sargent, De Vries, and oh great, our teammate is last. Well, what do you expect then? Anyways, we got Stroll trying to make a move here on Ocon. Ocon's a bit displaced from Verstappen. Verstappen also tries to make a move here on Valtteri Bottas just up ahead here as they make their way down the main straight. Here we go then. I think Ocon's just about going to hold on for now. But meanwhile, back to our POV here. You can see as we're going to get overtaken here by Alonso as he comes flying in them with the incredible straight line speed. Luckily, the slipstream is much more powerful in this game. We lock up though, we go way too deep then into that corner. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 2. Not going to be ideal. We're going to give Alonso the space here, but we do manage to get the traction on the outside. We managed to get the drive. Already Perez, well, he's 3 seconds away as we're too busy trying to squabble with these guys. And we go a bit deep into that corner. Have a bit of a lock up there. Alonso tries to go for the switch back. We just about managed to hold him off, but that's held up Leclerc's, sorry, not Leclerc, that's held up Russell so much to the point where Leclerc has now re-overtaken him. So Leclerc's back up into P4 here. We got Sainz in P7 tail-ending this train. But with this much fighting, we're going to pretty much allow the rest of the field to catch us here. As Perez, I think, is like 4 or 5 seconds ahead already. We got Alonso and Leclerc waiting to hunt us down here. There's Sainz in P7 here. And there's us up in P2. We're still repping the big boys here. We are going to have a lot of fun up here. And I know that these guys are going to be hard to hold behind. We're probably going to let them by at some point. But think about it here. Verstappen's in P10 here at the moment. We're only going to have, like, Perez, Alonso, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, Norris, and Tsunoda. Not Tsunoda, what am I saying? Sainz and Verstappen here in the top 7. So that means the best finish we could probably think of is a P8, because I do not think Stroll's going to be able to get to the field as fast as he wants to. Who knows? Anyways, watching Verstappen here, he's going to try to make a move around the outside of Norris. Probably the preferred line as we get the momentum down this main straight, and he does so successfully up into P9. He is on the soft tires as well as meanwhile back to our POV here. We're all in the medium tires, but Leclerc with the absolute goated straight line speed gets past us, nearly gets past Alonso there. We're going to get the DRS off these guys. These guys are still busy squabbling here Leclerc gets squeezed, and we get the DRS here. Now trying to get the slipstream then off Fernando Alonso. But look at the speed the Ferrari's got compared to us. We're going to back off this a little bit, trying to go to the outside of Leclerc as he gets boxed in there by Alonso. I think it's going to be hopeless to try and re-overtake Alonso here, so we're going to let Alonso by for now here. We do manage to stay ahead though of Leclerc, so that's us down into P3. But hey, I think we should just red flag the race, cancel the race, and give us 15 points right here, right now, as we make our way into the right-hander here. We got Tsunoda. He's still up in P8, so kudos to him, considering, like I said, the AlphaTauri is the worst car on the grid, but he does have Verstappen right behind him. And like I said, Verstappen, he's on the soft tires though, so very interesting to see him on that. Let's see if he maybe might do a two-stop then from soft, medium, medium, or he might try soft hard. I think, of course, that soft tire was good to have a decent launch then off the starting line, and it has paid dividends for him. He's already up into P9, and as you can see, we are very busy trying to stay ahead of Charles Leclerc, and that's allowed Alonso to pretty much run away. Well, not necessarily run away, but he is definitely ahead of us. But you know who has run away? Sergio Perez. He's pretty much at the end of the straight, heading towards turn 14, turn 15 right now. We're not even halfway down that back straight. We got Sargent in P19 here. He's on the soft tires as well, so are Williams planning something here? Who knows? And Iwasa, he's still down to P22, but look at this absolute train and a half here as we try to stick with Leclerc down this down this main straight. But I think Russell's got other ideas. He's going to try to go around the outside of us here. Look at the speed the Mercedes has got. I will say, though, it is better than F122, probably because of the fact the straight line speed is definitely reduced for the crazy AI, but also the slipstream has been increased as well, so it does make it a bit easier to defend, but it also makes it a lot easier for them to overtake as we go way too deep into the corners. We're trying to cover up George Russell. Russell tries for the switch back like he did, or like Leclerc did to us, but we just managed to hold him off for now. But Leclerc, he's already 9/10 away from us here, so I don't think we're able to get DRS down this next turn. We're going to need a decent run in through this corner here. We're going to spam the overtake button, get on the power as early as we possibly can. Can we get DRS down this back straight? I think we just hit it. Yes, we did. That is a huge relief for us here. The DRS is very powerful in this game as well. You can see us revving the heck out of this engine here, actually yeeting the rear tires here. But so we got to use these tires to their effect as best as we can here. Trying to get DRS one more time down the main straight here before we lose touch him. Although I do think he's going to be starting to run away just a little bit here. You can see he's 1.2 seconds ahead of us, and he's firmly in the slipstream of Fernando Alonso. We're going to spam the overtake button, and we'll see if we can somehow claw back in. But look at the straight line speed he has here, and I think we're not going to be able to get it here. Make our way into the final corners as we absolutely lose the back end there. Not ideal. And now we got Russell on our tail here. Russell, he's going to come flying by. We're going to give a good old squeeze to the inside here. Hamilton's going to try to follow the slipstream here, but we're going to tuck back in, get the DRS then for the next corner. As you can see ahead, Alonso and Leclerc going side by side. A bit of contact with Hamilton there as he tried to sneak it up the inside. That was my fault as we didn't see Hamilton here. But let's see if those two squabbling is going to try and hold them up here. Now looking on the POV of Sainz, he's behind Hamilton, who is behind me at the moment. We're still trying to follow George Russell as we go. Well, we are doing a Hamilton right now here as we make our way into the S section here. Unfortunately, they have stopped squabbling, so I don't think they'll be losing too much time here. But, I mean, once you start squabbling, they are starting to lose a lot of time here. And, I mean, this train, I think Verstappen is slowly starting to catch up to us. Yeah, you can see he's 7 tenths behind us as Sainz flies by here. But this is going to be important. We cannot let Sainz run away with it as we go back down the inside then of Carlos Sainz here. He's going to try to give us a good old squeeze, and we're going to go up the inside here just a minute to get the position back. And as you can see, the Hamilton has gotten ahead of us, and I decided to let him go. There was no point fighting him. I mean, Russell, he's already 1.2 seconds ahead of Hamilton, so unless, again, they can start squabbling again, I don't know if he'll be able to reel him in. We got Sainz and Verstappen battling out behind, but I think Verstappen just got the better drive through those corners and he's up into P7, so we won't have to worry about Verstappen too much. Remember, he still is on the soft tires, and I do think those soft tires are still working pretty well on that Red Bull. It's just going to be Sainz that's going to be the main issue here, because there's a decent gap then to the next group of cars here, but if we can stick with Sainz and essentially get dragged along, that would be a massive help for us, as it would pretty much allow us then to just run free through this race here, as Verstappen's at the P6, we're in P7 here. We did, again, like I said, let him go. And now we got Sainz and P8 right behind us here. But anyways, we got Leclerc chasing down Alonso here, who is, I must say, doing a pretty impressive job up there in P2, considering the fact he has no slipstream, as Perez, well, he's kind of just checked out from this race at this point here. You got Sainz behind us, and you can see us going a little bit wider, and then there's a gap then between Sainz and Norris. So Noda's down to P11, but again, still massive credit to the Japanese driver for dragging the AlphaTauri all the way up here. Bottas, Ocon, Gasly, Albon, Joe from P12 to P16. Then you got Hulkenberg in 17, Piastri 18, Magnussen 19, Sargent, De Vries, and Iwasa rounding out the order so far. Iwasa, he's sticking to this train, but he's just not making any moves just yet. So hopefully one of the AI will make a mistake and he can at least move up at least one position. Get off the bottom of the order, for goodness sake, here. As we are watching Leclerc, this is probably the closest battle on track we have at the moment. That Ferrari is looking pretty fast in a straight line, I must say, here. And you can see that Alonso's trying to defend. He's probably using a bit of ERS then down this straight. Just hopefully have a decent run then through these next sequence of corners, try to get a decent gap then between him and Leclerc. But we're going to ride with a bit of a cockpit cam. I was trying to, visor cam doesn't exist though in this game here. But Leclerc flies by through. Is Alonso going to try to fight back then into the next corner? I don't think so here. I think it's just a little bit too far. And that's probably the best decision to make. Although I think the Aston Martin, maybe the Aston Martin's a little bit better than the Ferrari on the actual R&D chart. I don't know for certain here. But I think if Alonso just wants to play the long game here, he might just have to stick behind.
It can happen to the best of us. Now look, I've put a new strategy option for you in the MFD, so go and have a look.
Okay, we have Mark asking for a potential strategy change as Sainz was trying for a move then up the inside here. There is a roughly 3.5 second gap then to the next group of cars as we have, well, Mark is asking us to stop then on the lap 12 then instead of lap 14, as I think he's noticing the tire is a bit harsher than usual. We do let Sainz through there, but now again, like I said, the goal is to try and stick with the Spaniard driver here. Norris, he's 3.3 seconds behind. He is currently holding up Stroll, who is also on the soft tires as well. Sorry for stumbling a bit there. We're kind of just trying to, you know.
Okay, be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
Yep, trying to just gather my ideas here. And like I said, oh my goodness, we're going to ignore the fact I just had a huge rear lock up there. But yeah, like I said, the mechanical grip is starting to fall away a little bit then as the tires are definitely starting to wear out here. Anyways, on board with Stroll here, as he's going to try to make a move here on Norris. That McLaren is so Stroll. Oh my gosh, Stroll? Is that even a word though? It is so slow in Australia. As you can see, Stroll made a move there on Norris here. He snuck up the inside there. Bottas, he is in P12. And by the way, the Road to Glory series, for those of you who are potentially wondering, we are having another Road to Glory series, this time in F1 23. I will reveal the team to you guys very, very, very soon. I'm a bit backed up on videos, I admit, and I do know that this My Team episode came out, well, quite late, I must say. But, yeah, we're going to try to crank these out as quickly as we can. Of course, it's the summertime then, so we do have a bit more time on our hands to try and make sure that these videos come out. Anyways, this is just a P8 at the moment, still somehow holding onto the back then of Carlos Sainz at the moment for now. We'll see how that ends up in the end. Lap 10, though, of this Grand Prix. Verstappen tries to make a move on Hamilton, but Hamilton goes back down the inside. 2021 vibes all over again as these two go side by side through the corners here. Hamilton just gets the better drive here, but Verstappen gets the DRS. No, Hamilton gets the DRS here, but look at the straight line speed of the Red Bull compared to the Mercedes here on the inside. Verstappen goes. Hamilton's probably best just letting him go because he is still on the soft tires, although I do assume those soft tires are starting to slowly wear out then for the Dutch driver here, as Alonso here on lap 12 is trying to also make a move here on Charles Leclerc. Up the inside he goes. A nice move then done for the Spaniard, but the Monegasque driver trying to fight back, but the Spaniard driver just gets the drive off the Stroll. Norris still in P9 and P10. Meanwhile, Bottas trying to get past Sonoda here for P11 here in this Grand Prix. He is on the outside. It's going to turn to the inside, but he gets pinched though by the AlphaTauri driver. Meanwhile, Hulkenberg and Albon scrapping it away for P15. Both Williams, for some reason, are on the soft tires, and so interesting scenes here at the Williams team. Let's see how that's going to pull off in the end here. Ocon gets past Bottas, so Bottas went from attack to defense, and in the end he actually lost the position then to the French driver. Now Ocon is free to pursue after Yuki Tsunoda, which I do assume will be a little bit of an easier overtake here. Anyways, let's check up at the top here. Lap 12, at the end of lap 12 I should say, is Verstappen going to come into the pit? I think he will. Yes, he is. This Dutch driver is into the pit lane here, which I will assume, is he going to go to the medium or the hard? Is he going to go for 2-stop or one stop. Soft tires are, and it's going to be the medium tires on then for the Dutch driver. So is he potentially going to do a two-stop? He might have the pace then, although I don't know. Maybe they're going to go for track position. He says Stroll's into the pits as well. Remember, he was also on the soft tires as well, as he makes his way down the pit lane then towards his pit box. What tires is he going to do? I think it's going to be mediums as well. So is he going to be also trying a two-stop, or are these drivers, in this case Verstappen and Stroll and the Williams drivers as well, are they going to be trying to do an audacious one-stop strategy to try and get some track position here from soft to medium? That's going to be a pretty difficult strategy, although they did stretch the softs to pretty much 12, 13 laps, so kudos to them. So maybe they're up to something we don't know. Anyways, then, looking through the order for now, Sargent, he's still running on those old soft tires here. Verstappen's down to P18. Iwasa's up to P20 because of the fact that Stroll and Albon did pit, but I do assume that Verstappen is going to be getting past these guys ASAP here, as he's got Sargent right in front of him at the moment. He's pretty much pushing him through these corners. Look at the pace difference then compared to the Red Bull and the Williams. And it also comes down to, like I said, the mechanical grip. Like I said, with new tires, it's beautiful, like how much grip you actually have. Like, it's nuts. Like, you feel like as if the car is just on rails, it is just planted to the ground. Meanwhile, Verstappen must be getting frustrated that he is just held up behind Sargent here. Sargent, remember, he's on those old soft tires. Those tires must be absolutely shot to pieces right now. So we'll see how that ends up in the end. Meanwhile, Leclerc is into the box then. Medium tires off. And I think that's the hard tires are coming in as we come into the pits as well. We're going to be doing the medium to the harsh side. We did actually stretch that sit one lap longer, so we pitted on lap 13, turning to lap 14. And so I thought the tires would last one more lap, and this will definitely ensure that the tires, these hard tires, will get to the end. Clean stop from the boys. Thank you guys very much then. 2.4 seconds, and well, the tires are still cold at the moment. But luckily though, with this game, it is a lot easier to warm up the tires here, and the cold tires, well, they don't feel like bricks as they come out of the pit lane. You can actually somewhat still drive with them as they come out of the pit lane. We're down in P18 at the moment. We got Stroll behind him. He's on the medium tires, but those tires have been warmed up already though, so he's going to quickly close the gap then. Remember, Stroll, he was like 4 seconds behind us before we made the pit stops, and now he's only 1.5 seconds behind us. Again, like I said, we are on the colder tires and the harder compound at the moment, but that just shows you how powerful the undercut can potentially be if you do get that strategy dead right. Meanwhile, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ocon, these guys are still going in the race. And remember, these guys are on the medium tires. I do suspect they will be starting to stop them coming this lap. I don't know which Alpine driver is going to get priority. I think it's probably going to be Ocon because he is ahead of Gasly at the moment, unless the Alpine drivers are going to try to do some interesting tactics, I was saying. Meanwhile, Sergio Perez, he is just absolutely chilling up here, but I do think he will be coming in for his one and only pit stop of this race. Yes, he is, and into the pit lane he goes, and I do assume he will go onto the hard tires like a bunch of the other AI who started on the medium tires are doing now. Anyways, into the pits, medium tires off, hard tires on, clean stop from the Red Bull crew, and he's back out there. Russell and Alonso then back into, Hamilton and Alonso into the pits. Russell continues on for one more lap here as Alonso comes into the pits, adds to Hamilton in kind of synchronization, not gonna lie. Both guys onto the hard tires, as well as Sainz, he is free to go. Norris, he's into the pits, as well as Ocon. Gasly continues on. Then you got Tsunoda and Bottas coming to the pits as well. Meanwhile, you got Leclerc and Verstappen here battling out. Verstappen nearly loses the back end there as he actually gets overtaken by both guys who both had DRS there. Out comes Hamilton just ahead of Piastri. Out comes Sainz just ahead of De Vries and Iwasa. And there's us in P13 holding off Stroll at the moment. Norris slots in behind Stroll there at the moment as we have Verstappen and Joe going wheel to wheel. Joe is going to try to give him a fight, but that's probably not the smartest idea between the Red Bull of the superior pace advantage it has. Leclerc, he's up to P5. Gasly, Russell, they are still yet to pit at this moment in time, as is Joe, as is Piastri, as is De Vries, Iwasa, yada yada yada. At the moment here, Norris, he's down in P15, he's behind Stroll. Then you got Albon, Ocon, Bottas, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Sargent, and Hulkenberg rounding out the order at the moment here. Anyways, catching on to Russell here, coming his way out of turn 13 there. Just makes his way down the straight. Then I think he's going to be going onto the hard tires. He's going to only have to do 14 laps then on these tires, so he's going to have a couple laps fresher tires there compared to the rest of the field around him as Hamilton gets past Joe there. Into the pits then comes the British driver here And like I said, he's probably going onto the hard tires here as he makes his way into the box then. Medium tires off, hard tires on. A bit of a slower stop though, I'll admit, than from the Mercedes team. Gasly's coming into the pits. Alonso is now free. He's going to be back up into P2 probably, as Gasly is going to make his way down the pit lane here, as was Joe. As well, Russell slots into P3. Leclerc though overtakes him there, and Verstappen gets ahead of him as well. So Russell, he's back down to P5, and I will say, Verstappen with that undercut has now gone into P4. As we saw, there was a big error there from the Alpine guys here, as he also got held up there by Piastri. So Gasly's going to be fuming as it makes its way out of the pit lane here, as Ocon gets past Albon here up to P11, and he's now got Norris just ahead of him for that final points position here. As well, Gasly, he's down in P17. He's behind Sargent then. As we make our way through the laps here, lap 17 then of this Bahrain Grand Prix. Leclerc, he's running a pretty decent race in third, I'll admit. Let's see. Uh-oh, wait, why is he going? No! Leclerc! What are you doing? Leclerc is out of the Grand Prix. Lap 18 to 29. The Ferrari engine goes up in smoke. He is out of the Bahrain Grand Prix, and meanwhile, while all of that is happening, we're trying to battle it out with Lance Stroll here, trying to go around the outside. We just about managed to hold him off here. I don't think it was a smart decision to fight him, considering he is in the Aston Martin here. He is on the mediums, we are on the hards, but I am greedy for points. I want points for the team. Right now, we are sitting in P7. This would be 6 points then for the team if the race were just to end now. But we still got 12 more laps here to try and finish. So that is a lot of opportunities for Stroll to try and overtake us here. But we're going to do our best to park the bus here and do try our best to try and stay ahead at the moment. Lap 20 then. Sorry for the quick changes in the transitions. Unfortunately, for some reason, my editing software decided to get rid of all the transitions. I don't know why. But hopefully it will be a quick fix afterwards. And then maybe in the future episodes, that issue will be resolved. But for now, I'm just trying to get this episode out as quickly as possible here. I just don't want to delay this too much longer, so I hope you guys still don't mind this as much. Anyways, let's check back up at the top here. We got Perez, Alonso, Verstappen. Hamilton is right behind Verstappen then, so this is going to be a battle for the last podium spot here. And we got Sainz, he's flying the flag alone here in P6. It's a 4-train fight then for that final point spot. Stroll, Norris, Ocon complete the top 10. Albon's in P11, Bottas 12, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Gasly 13 to 15, 12 to 15 here. Then you got Hulkenberg, Sargent, Piastri, Joe, De Vries, and Iwasa. So Iwasa, well, technically he's not in last place. He's only in 21st, but out of all the runners that are still remaining, yeah, he's still dead last. Anyways, then Albon and Bottas having a decent scrap here, as Albon's trying to have to defend from Bottas. Albon was pretty defenseless. He has no one in front of him to try and help give him DRS here, as we watch Hamilton make a move here on Verstappen here. This is the second time in this Grand Prix here. Hamilton on the inside. He's up into P3 at the moment, but will Verstappen try to fight this back? He's going to have the inside line. Is he going to get squeezed? It looks like he will, though, and that's going to allow Russell to have a decent run on him. Russell going to try to pull to the inside. Hamilton blocks him off a little bit. Is it going to be 3 wide into turn 4? 3 wide, 3 wide. Russell on the inside. Verstappen in the middle. Hamilton around the outside. Verstappen's actually the big loser in this, as he actually gets overtaken by both Mercedes here. Hamilton is the big winner. He not only gets away, he also has a decent gap then to Russell. As back down we go, Hulkenberg and Gasly going side by side. Then you got Tsunoda and the rest of the crew up ahead here. As looking back on this fight here, we'll come back to that in a second. Lap 22 then of this Bahrain Grand Prix. Russell trying to overtake his teammates, so no team orders here down at Mercedes here, and that's going to allow Verstappen to catch back up once again here. Is it going to be 3 wide into turn 3 once again? They're going to try to do it here again, but Russell just manages to stay ahead. Hamilton tries to swing it around the outside, but Verstappen just about manages to get the drive off, but Hamilton still got his nose in there around the outside. Can he make this work? On the inside he goes, as they're still side by side here. Russell's now running away with this. For Sainz, must be absolutely fuming in the cockpit here as he tries to get past these two guys here, as we have a nice little onboard shot there. Side by side, into the left-hander we go. Verstappen on the outside, Hamilton on the inside. They're still going side by side here. None of them are willing to cede the position here. And that's pretty much allowed Russell to take like a 3-second gap into the next guys, as Verstappen finally gets his way through. And Sainz as well. So Hamilton, the big loser, he's down into P6 then. But they're like 13 seconds ahead of us. So I wouldn't be worrying about them too much. Lap 27 then of this Bahrain Grand Prix. We have held off Stroll pretty well then, but there is a slight problem with the fact that Norris and Ocon, they are slowly starting to catch up to us then, so that's not looking too good. It's become a four-way fight, and if we start tripping over each other, well, I mean, Ocon and Norris could easily steal these spots that I think they'd be more than happy to, considering the fact that, number one, that McLaren is a terrible car at the moment, and number two, the Alpines, of course, they want to be fighting the top runners, and they have to start, they have to start small, they got to get these points here and there, and then they can start to challenge for race wins as we make our way towards the final two corners then, for the 27th time I'm asking, during this Grand Prix, trying to stay ahead, then Stroll using a bit of overtake here, to try and make sure to get, but look at the speed that Aston Martin has here. We're going to use a bit more overtake to try and hold him off here as he goes flying around the outside, tucked back into the slipstream, dive back down the inside here. Those medium tires are pretty short as we drift our way through the first corner here, giving Stroll a good old squeeze to the inside here. And he eventually backs out of it there. You can see clearly the tires are starting to drop off. Lap 29, and Sainz has gone past Verstappen here. He's up into P4, but I think the damage has been done because Russell, well, he's like 5 seconds ahead of these guys. So I don't think a podium for the Ferrari team is going to be on the cards, but at least the Mercedes will get on the podium. Meanwhile, there is a four-train fight between me, Stroll, Norris, and Ocon for P7 to P10. So hopefully we can stay ahead of all three guys. Verstappen's only got a couple more chances to try and catch up and pass Sainz here as they make their way down towards turn 11 here. I don't think he's going to be too close enough to make a move here. There's Ocon. There's Bottas. He's in P11. He's gone ahead of Gasly. So now Albon has actually retired from the race then, unfortunately. So the Thai driver, he was running a very good race there up in P12, P11. But unfortunately, he's retired. Anyways, Perez wins the season opener here in Bahrain. Alonso comes through to take P2. Russell comes home to take P3 then. And it's going to be Sainz, Verstappen, and Hamilton that take 4, 5, and 6 in this Bahrain Grand Prix. But what I'm definitely going to be happy about is that we take P7 here in Sakir. Our first race, we get the first points for our team. 6 beautiful points then. It was a great race. A bit of luck, I will say. But hey, I'll take it any day. Max Verstappen, driver of the day. I don't care too much.
Smiling faces on the pit wall then after that superb win here at Sakir, and rightly so. A brilliant effort from the whole team. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. It's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
So then, congratulations to Sergio Perez for winning the Bahrain Grand Prix here. We have, of course, Alonso, like I said, Alonso P2 and Russell P3. A shame Verstappen only finished P5, but of course that engine penalty kind of really set him off. I don't know why you take an engine penalty on the first race of the season, but I guess Verstappen is just that confident he's going to win the title that he's going to take however many engine penalties he wants, eh? But anyways then, congratulations to those guys for finishing on the podium. One day we'll be up there, but hey, we got to start small. With a nice P7 finish, I will take that any day then. As we get some nice podium pass XP.
It's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship.
I like the fact that we are literally, we dropped 6 positions, but hey, I don't care too much then. Unfortunately, Awasa only finished P20 then, but he was still with the train though, so that does show that he still has a decent amount of pace. We're just gonna need to train him, and hopefully at some point he will be able to fight for those crucial points and working our way through the standings there. Anyways, that's gonna be it then for the Bahrain Grand Prix episode. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy it, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Episode 2 will be coming out soon, don't worry, as well as the Road to Glory series. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you and goodbye.